Hello there, it is I, Cassandra, the Vintage Arcade Gal, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a project I've been working on for 3 years, and it's very exciting for me to finally be finished with this and offer it to you, the arcade game collecting community. And it is a book that I have written with the help of some other fine folks as well, and it is the Vintage Arcade Gal presents the Arcade Video Game Collectors Field and Price Guide. It's a mouthful, I know. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what this book is, why I wrote this book, and how you can get your own copy. Now, the good news is that there are 3 different variants available for this book. There are 2 printed editions you can purchase if you desire. If you're watching this video, they are available now. Either as a hardbound or a softbound version. So we have a really high-end expensive version, full color, and we have a less expensive softbound version that's printed in black and white. Unfortunately, printing costs are pretty expensive. And there's also the free version you can view on my website. Now, when I was getting towards finishing up this project, I was offered some partnerships with a couple of publishers who wanted to work with me. And the reason I ended up kind of self-publishing this book was so I had control over it and I could offer that free version online. This is not an attempt for me to turn my hobby into some sort of side hustle, which I never recommend doing, by the way. It was really just the accumulation of a project. So again, there's 2 versions of the printed version. There's the hardbound edition, which is pretty nice. It came out pretty well. Now yours will not have this not for resale banner on it when you get it. That's because this is my editorial copy, and you can see it's printed in full color, and it's pretty chunky. It's over 450 pages, this book. And what you have in here is, at the beginning, you have a couple of articles. Some of this stuff is modified stuff from my website. Some of it is brand new, explaining like terminology within the gaming culture and arcade games. Some explanations of how we arrived at prices in the book, which I won't bore you with in this video. You can read it if you desire. And about restoration versus originality, which is something we've talked about before in these videos. And a couple other guides, including some appendixes in the back with some specific information that you might find useful, including probably a somewhat controversial section of what I consider to be the 50 most historically important arcade games. So this is the color edition. It's hardbound. It's like I said, it's pretty big. It's 8 by 11. And then there's the paperback version, which is much less expensive, but it is printed in black and white. Although the quality is very good. Originally, I was inspired to make this book by a couple different factors. There was a number of attempts online over the years to create some sort of price guide or database within the collecting community to help both kind of self-police, track values, and so people coming into the hobby, or maybe they found a game in their garage trying to figure out what the heck this thing is worth, and they didn't want to get ripped off. So it was kind of a fair way to kind of track those things. I was actually curious when I first started this. It really started off as a project of just watching why some games all of a sudden spiked in value. Like right before COVID, I noticed that several titles were really spiking in value and interest, mainly 4-player Simpsons, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, those Konami 4-player games are spiking in value all of a sudden, along with some other titles like Smash TV. So I started tracking a database, and I started putting that database on my website. And then over the years, it has become this kind of a complete edition of all the games that I consider to be released in North America legitimately, and some that were not. And hopefully that will expand. So I have like over 2,300 titles in this. And each listing has the title, the company, the date it was released, if it was a dedicated cabinet or a conversion kit only, or both, different cabinet versions, like if it was a cocktail or a mini or whatnot, also the genre of the game, what I consider to be an estimated lower, average, and higher price tablet, some trivia as well. Some games are listed only as PCB only. because that's mostly the data I found. And there's some other information, like some games I have production information, so I can tell you exactly how many were made, which is pretty great. And a lot of this data was tabulated from several years of data tracking various websites for sales and live auctions, person-to-person sales, and also going through a lot of old Playmeter magazines and articles and things of that nature. So there you have it. The other inspiration for this was other price guides from other hobbies like comic book collecting or coin collecting. I used to collect comic books, and they had the Overstreet price guide that was just really enjoyable. And one of the reasons I really liked looking at wasn't just so much for the value, but you could look through this thing and see like essentially the history of comic books unfold before you. And they had like all sorts of trivia bits, and you can discover things that you didn't really know anything about. And I just loved looking through it. So this way we have printed versions you can buy if you desire, which are much easier on the eyes. I don't really like reading on a computer screen, to be honest with you. And some people always like to have books. Can't blame them, right? Or you can always view the free one on my website, which is exactly the same. There's no difference. You just have to deal with the flip book thing. That's all. So it's available now. It's the paperback version is $29.99. The hardback version is a little more expensive. It's listed at $79.99. Unfortunately, because it's color printed, it's 450 pages and it's big. However, through Amazon right now, it seems to be a lot less expensive, like about 25% off. So I think if you initially order right now, at least in the United States, you should be able to get it a lot less expensive. So yeah, you can read all about the book. In the book, as far as how we tabulated things, I think it's going to be useful for any hobby. I'm selling the book basically also to help see what kind of support we have in the future for it, because I hope to bring out new updated editions every so often. And by buying a copy, you tell me, hey, I'm interested in this project, I'm supportive of this project, I want to keep going. I think it's also kind of important to have some sort of unofficial or official price guide within this hobby as the hobby matures. It really helps, I think, maintain the credibility of the hobby, because this is basically a reference book. If you really think about it, it's not like the next great American novel. It's a reference book for the hobby that we love. So there you go. And thanks so much for everyone who supported. I've had a lot of people who've been so nice to me over the last years. They knew I was doing this, and they've been super supportive, super helpful with the development of the book, and they're excited about the book. So I hope that you are too. And I would love it if people bought a copy. It would really help out the project going forward. So that's it. That's all I have. I've got some other videos coming up. I know I've been gone for a while from the video scene, but that's because I've been finishing my master's degree, which actually I graduated this week. So I have 2 new arcade game projects I'll be talking about pretty soon. I'm restoring a Turbo Mini, which is pretty far along, and a very rare 1974 Track 10. I was going to make a video about when I got both of them, but unfortunately the audio was all crappy for some reason. So anyway, book, you can order it right now on Amazon if you desire, or you can just look at it at my website. And I hope you find it useful. So I'm pretty proud of it, actually. So thanks for checking in, and I'll be making some videos pretty soon. Okay, bye.